Beloved friends, let us speak of transformation, not the slow, wishful kind that comes and goes with your mood, but the radiant, unstoppable transformation that comes when you claim it as a law of your life. The year 2026 stands before you, a clean slate, a vast field ready for your planting. The first truth I wish to impress upon you is this: the world will not wait for your motivation. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes like the wind. But the power that moves the universe obeys only those who act with decision and authority. Understand this: you are not here to beg for change, you are here to declare it. Every morning as your eyes open, speak these words with conviction. I command my life to align with the highest expression of my being. I will not falter, I will not delay, I will move forward with divine certainty. When you act by force, not by hope, not by wish, but by deliberate choice, you enlist the entire universe to your side. Forces unseen will bend to your decision. Circumstances will shift, doors will open where walls once stood. You see, transformation is never gentle when it is real. It requires breaking away from old habits, old fears, old identities that no longer serve you. Do not ask, "Do I feel ready?" That question is the whisper of hesitation. Instead, answer boldly, "I am ready, and I begin now." To act by force is to step into the current of divine law and move with certainty, knowing that resistance is an illusion. Every action, no matter how small, multiplied by consistency, becomes unstoppable momentum. Many ask for a sign, for a spark of inspiration, and yet they remain where they are. I tell you, the spark is within your command. Your words, your thoughts, and your deeds are instruments of transformation. Speak to yourself as the person you intend to become. See yourself in your mind's eye living the life you desire, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. And then, act. Do what must be done. Let nothing deter you. When you act by divine force, fear dissolves, hesitation vanishes, and the path clears before you. Remember, the universe does not distinguish between gentle wishes and determined command. It responds to action, to courage, to the audacity of your will aligned with the law of good. Therefore, I urge you, schedule your victory. Plan it, enforce it, demand it from yourself and from the universe. Refuse compromise. Refuse delay. Refuse the sweet trap of motivation that comes today and disappears tomorrow. Build your days, your habits, your very thought life around the unshakable fact that you will become the person you envision. No excuses, no exceptions. And know this: transformation is not an event. It is a series of choices, repeated with divine insistence, until the outer world conforms to the inner command. As you step through 2026, let your actions carry the authority of law, your words the weight of inevitability, and your thoughts the certainty of triumph. Act as if there is no other path but your perfect, radiant self, and in doing so, beloved friends, you will awaken the dormant powers within you, and nothing in the outer world can resist your deliberate will. Beloved friends, let us speak first of the supreme law of transformation, the law that does not wait for inspiration, that does not bend to the whims of your feelings, but commands obedience through action alone. Many seekers of success, prosperity, and personal growth stumble because they rely upon motivation, that fleeting fire that sparks in the heart only to vanish at the slightest obstacle. Motivation is like the morning dew, beautiful, delicate, temporary. It cannot sustain the weight of transformation. Transformation requires more than desire. It requires deliberate action, an action born from the soul's authority, not from hope or wish. To act by force is to step into the stream of divine law and to move forward with unshakable certainty. It is to decide that your growth, your victory, and your becoming will no longer depend upon circumstances, feelings, or timing, but solely upon your determination to command your life. Consider the mind that waits for motivation. It waits, it hesitates, it looks for signs, it questions, it wonders if it is ready. And while it waits, the days pass, the opportunities fade, and the soul grows restless with longing but empty in accomplishment. By force does not wait. It does not ask permission. It does not concern itself with mood or inspiration. Acting by force means declaring, I will move, I will grow, I will change, I will step fully into the life I am meant to live. And when you make such a declaration, it is no longer a matter of hope, it is a matter of law. The universe, responding to the certainty of your command, begins to align circumstances, people, and opportunities to support your action. There is a great power in this knowledge. When you understand that motivation is optional, but action is compulsory, you begin to see yourself not as a passenger in life, but as the captain of your vessel. Each day becomes a sacred opportunity to enforce the change you have already decided upon. You begin to move not when you feel inspired, but because you have set the intention and claimed it as inevitable. The smallest step, taken with the authority of law, carries the weight of the universe behind it. You do not need to wait for inspiration to clean your habits, to speak the words of your vision, to take the steps that will build your desired life. The act itself is the spark that ignites power. Observe, too, that acting by force is not reckless, nor is it driven by anger or impatience. It is deliberate, intelligent, and unwavering. It requires a mind that has decided upon a course and will not be swayed by hesitation, distraction, or fear. The person who relies on motivation alone is like a leaf on the wind, blown this way and that, never reaching the destination it dreams of. The person who acts by force is like the river cutting through rock, steady, persistent, irresistible. Each action reinforces the next. Each step taken with authority strengthens your resolve. Each moment of deliberate action expands the power within you. Now, consider the world you wish to create within and around you. It is not enough to imagine it and hope that inspiration will carry you there. The world responds to action. It bends to the person who moves with decisiveness and authority. When you act by force, your thoughts, your words, and your deeds become instruments of transformation. The act itself is sacred. When you rise each morning and declare that you will enforce your growth, the mind begins to align, the habits begin to follow, and even the body moves in harmony with your will. You create a chain reaction of power, momentum, and inevitability. The universe does not resist the determined soul, it aligns to support it. Many struggle because they confuse desire with action. They wish, they hope, they dream, they imagine, but they fail to move. This is the trap of motivation. Motivation may light a flame, but it is weak and fragile. Action taken by force is the eternal flame, burning steadily, illuminating the path, melting obstacles, and forging new realities. To act by force is to take responsibility for your life, fully and without excuse. It is to cease blaming circumstances, waiting for luck, or appealing to chance. It is to stand upright and say, I will be, I will do, I will achieve. Let us speak, too, of the courage that action requires. Many are hesitant to act because action exposes them to failure, to the unknown, to challenge. But remember this, hesitation is the enemy of power. When you act by force, you transcend fear, for the act itself carries the authority of inevitability. Each action is a declaration that the old self, the self limited by doubt, procrastination, and hesitation, will no longer control your life. Each deliberate step is a hammer strike upon the walls of limitation, breaking the bondage of comfort and familiar patterns. Action by force is courageous, not because it is fearless, but because it proceeds despite fear, knowing that growth and transformation demand movement. Do not underestimate the subtle power of small actions taken with authority. Transformation is built not always in grand gestures, but in consistent, repeated enforcement of choice. Rising early, speaking words of truth and vision, making decisions that align with your highest self, refusing procrastination, refusing doubt, refusing compromise. These are the acts of force that build unstoppable momentum. And momentum is power. Momentum is the law of nature working through you. Once you begin to move with deliberate intention, the universe itself moves with you. Opportunities appear, synchronicities manifest, and doors open where walls once stood. Remember, too, that acting by force is not acting in isolation. It is the alignment of thought, word, and deed. Your mind conceives the vision, your words declare it into existence, and your actions enforce it. When these three forces converge in deliberate, consistent action, the transformation you seek is not only possible, it becomes inevitable. The world may challenge you, circumstances may resist, old patterns may tug at you, but your deliberate action, your insistence upon forward movement, bends all things to the law of your determination. Finally, recognize that action by force creates freedom. Motivation is a servant, unreliable and fickle, while action is the master, faithful and unyielding. When you act by force, you no longer wait for the right feeling, the right mood, the right alignment of stars. You move regardless, and in that movement, the universe conspires with you. You free yourself from indecision, from hesitation, from the trap of waiting for permission. You take your life into your own hands, and in doing so, you awaken the power that was always within, a power that cannot be silenced by fey, delayed by circumstance, or diminished by doubt. Beloved friends, let us now speak of the sacred power that resides in your words and deeds, the authority you carry as a co-creator of your life. Many wander through existence unaware that every syllable they speak and every action they perform is shaping the world around them, bending circumstances, and influencing the very flow of destiny. Words are not idle sounds, they are living forces, and deeds are the instruments that give those words tangible form. To command your life is to speak and act with deliberate intention, to embody the truth of who you are and the life you're destined to live. When you understand this, you will see that transformation is not dependent upon external conditions, but upon the mastery of your own expression. The first step in commanding your life is to recognize the immense power of your speech. Every word carries a vibration, a force that shapes thought, habit, and environment. To speak negatively, to complain, to doubt, or to curse your circumstances is to feed the very limitations you wish to escape. Conversely, to speak with authority, with certainty, and with unwavering faith is to summon the forces of the universe to manifest your desires. Speak not of what is lacking, but of what is present, what is possible, and what you are becoming. Say, I am strong, I am capable, I am prosperous, I am victorious, not as a hope, but as a command. The universe responds not to your hope, but to you. Our insistence. Words are magnets, and they draw into your experience that which corresponds to their energy. Deeds are the living evidence of your words. It is not enough to speak with power if your actions do not reinforce your declarations. Each deliberate act, no matter how small, becomes a confirmation of the life you are creating. If you declare abundance, yet remain idle in your work, your words lack force. If you proclaim courage, yet shrink from necessary decisions, your words are empty. Action gives life to speech. It is the bridge between vision and reality. When words and deeds align, they form an unbreakable current of power that sweeps obstacles aside and draws opportunity toward you. The universe honors coherence. It honors those who speak and act as one, who embody their intentions in both thought and motion. Consider for a moment how often people fail to command their lives because they underestimate the subtlety of words and the necessity of action. They speak affirmations with fleeting lips, half-hearted, uncertain, and then allow their deeds to contradict them. They hope for change, they pray for guidance, but they do not move with authority. The law of life does not respond to hesitation or doubt. It responds to conviction, to the confident assertion of your will. When your words declare truth and your deeds enforce it, you create a magnetic field of inevitability. Circumstances bend, people align, doors open, and opportunities flow to you with ease because. See, the law recognizes consistency and authority. The second principle of commanding your life is to make every word conscious and every action intentional. This requires vigilance, for the mind is easily distracted, and the tongue often speaks without thought. Observe your language. Notice how you refer to yourself, to your future, and to your world. Replace doubt with certainty, complaint with gratitude, fear with faith, and then let your deeds mirror these words. Move with purpose in every action, no matter how mundane. Make every task an expression of your vision, every choice an affirmation of your authority. When you combine conscious speech with deliberate action, you wield the tools of transformation that cannot fail. It is also essential to remember that commanding your life is not an act of force against others, but an assertion of your own sovereignty. You do not seek to control people or circumstances, you seek to align yourself with the divine law that governs all life. You speak and act in a manner that affirms your worth, your purpose, and your destiny. You refuse to participate in gossip, negativity, or idle chatter that diminishes your power. You surround yourself with energy that reflects your vision, and you let your words and deeds radiate the truth of your being. In this way, the world begins to respond, not because it is coerced, but because it recognizes the integrity of your command. The third principle is persistence. Words spoken once may stir the air, but repeated words and sustained action forge reality. Repetition is the rhythm of creation. Speak daily with conviction, act daily with intent, and watch as the invisible laws of life conspire to bring your vision into form. The smallest consistent action, repeated without hesitation, carries more weight than sporadic bursts of inspiration. This is why motivation alone is insufficient. Motivation comes and goes, but the authority of repeated, deliberate action creates unshakable momentum. As you persist in aligning your words and deeds with your highest vision, you become a living force, a magnet for all that corresponds to your intention. Another essential aspect of commanding your life is clarity. Be precise in your words. Speak only of what you intend to manifest. Do not dilute your command with uncertainty or contradiction. Do not say, "I hope to be successful," when you intend victory. Do not speak of debt when you are declaring abundance. The universe hears with perfect fidelity. It answers the clarity of your word, and your deeds must also reflect clarity. Act in ways that leave no question as to your intent. Every choice, every movement, every interaction becomes a declaration of the life you are creating. Confusion weakens command, certainty strengthens it. Finally, understand that the alignment of words and deeds transforms not only circumstances, but character. As you speak with authority and act with intention, you begin to inhabit the qualities you desire: courage, abundance, creativity, wisdom. These qualities become habitual, woven into the very fabric of your being, because consistent expression produces inner transformation. When you command your life in this manner, you no longer wait for external validation, nor do you depend upon conditions to feel powerful. Power arises naturally from the integrity of your own words and the certainty of your own actions. You become, in essence, the living embodiment of the law of creation, a beacon of intentional power in a world often ruled by chance and indecision. Beloved friends, we now turn our attention to the necessary act of breaking old patterns, the release of habits, fears, and identities that no longer serve the highest expression of your life. Transformation cannot occur when the soul clings to the familiar, even if the familiar is small, limiting, or uncomfortable. Every day that you repeat patterns born of fear, doubt, procrastination, or self-sabotage, you reinforce the walls that separate you from your highest potential. To step into the fullness of your life, you must act decisively, immediately, and without hesitation to release all that no longer belongs to the new you. Do not delay, do not bargain, do not look back. The past, when clung to, is a prison. The present, seized with authority, is liberation. Consider how often people fail to break old patterns because they reason, rationalize, and negotiate with themselves. They say, "Tomorrow I will change," or "Next week I will begin." They postpone the inevitable, thinking that motivation or inspiration will arrive to guide them. But the law of life does not answer to procrastination or conditional promises. It responds to decisive action. To break old patterns without hesitation is to declare that you will no longer be governed by habit, fear, or limitation. You take authority over your own life, and in doing so, you awaken the dormant power within, a power that cannot be resisted by circumstance, opinion, or past conditioning. Breaking old patterns requires recognition first. Observe carefully the habits, thoughts, and behaviors that have kept you small, fearful, or stagnant. Identify the repetitive actions that no longer serve your higher purpose. Perhaps it is a habit of procrastination, the tendency to doubt your own worth, or the clinging to situations or relationships that drain energy rather than uplift it. Once you have identified the pattern, you must act decisively to release it. Recognition alone is insufficient. Action is required. The universe responds not to awareness alone, but to the force of deliberate decision and consistent enforcement. The second step is refusal. You must refuse absolutely and unconditionally to continue the old pattern. This requires courage, for patterns are comfortable in their familiarity, even when they limit or harm you. The mind may resist, the emotions may plead, and the body may protest, but the soul must command. No longer shall this pattern control me. I am free. I am sovereign. I am aligned with my highest good. Refusal is a declaration of authority. It is the conscious choice to break bondage, to step beyond limitation, and to embrace the life that is rightfully yours. Every refusal, spoken with clarity and enforced through action, dissolves the old and makes room for the new. Third, immediate action is essential. Do not wait for the perfect time, the ideal mood, or the alignment of circumstances. The perfect moment is a myth. It does not exist. Action must be taken now, in this moment, for hesitation allows the old pattern to continue its dominion. The first act of breaking a habit may be small, a conscious choice, a single decision, a refusal to comply with old programming, but it carries immense power. Every immediate act of defiance against limitation creates a ripple effect, dissolving chains and opening space for new, empowered behaviors to emerge. Momentum is created through immediate enforcement, and this momentum becomes unstoppable over time. The fourth principle is consistency. Breaking old patterns is not a one-time event. It is a sustained effort of repeated, deliberate choices. Each time the old pattern arises, meet it with the authority of your new self. Speak words of command. Act decisively, refuse to comply with the old, and affirm your alignment with your highest vision. Repetition is the law of creation. The more consistently you refuse the old, the more powerfully the new emerges. Your thoughts, your words, and your deeds reinforce the truth of your transformation. You are, in essence, training yourself to inhabit the higher state of being you desire. Another essential aspect is the understanding that breaking old patterns often involves discomfort. The familiar, even if limiting, is comfortable precisely because it is known. He knew, however, is often unfamiliar, challenging, and even frightening. Do not be dismayed by discomfort, for it is a sign of growth. It is the stretching of the mind, the awakening of the soul, the breaking of limitation. When fear, doubt, or resistance arises, meet it with courage and determination. Declare, I choose my highest good over fear. I choose freedom over limitation. I choose growth over stagnation. With each courageous act, the old pattern weakens, and your new, empowered life takes root. It is also important to replace old patterns with new, constructive ones. Transformation is not merely the act of removal, it is the act of creation. As you release habits of fear, procrastination, or limitation, fill the space with habits of clarity, courage, discipline, and vision. Replace negative thought patterns with affirmations of strength and prosperity. Replace passive indecision with deliberate, purposeful action. Replace complaint and doubt with gratitude and certainty. The act of breaking old patterns is inseparable from the act of building new ones, for the universe responds to what you embody and enforce through action. The power of immediate, decisive action extends beyond mere habit breaking. It transforms character, aligns your soul with its divine purpose, and activates forces that were previously dormant. As you refuse the old and enforce the new, you begin to inhabit a higher state of being. Your mind becomes sharper, your will becomes stronger, and your spirit becomes radiant. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance, but a co-creator in harmony with the law of life. Every step of deliberate action reinforces your sovereignty and expands your ability to command the experiences you desire. Finally, understand that breaking old patterns is a sacred act of self-love and divine alignment. To refuse limitation, to act decisively, to enforce your highest vision, is to honor the infinite power within you. You are not punishing yourself, nor are you struggling against fate. You are exercising the natural authority of the soul to align with divine law. Each act of decisive release carries with it liberation, empowerment, and the undeniable force of inevitability. Patterns of the past crumble, doors of opportunity swing open, and a new life, vibrant and abundant, rises in your experience because you have acted decisively and without hesitation.